Hey there, and welcome to the UkeStuff channel, and welcome to this full UkeGuide review of this instrument. This is the Flight TUC-55. It is the Laminate Acacia Concert Travel Ukulele. Now, just as a note here, I have a relationship with Flight Ukulele. I do some part-time work with them, both in terms of customer service and as an educational advisor. And I am allowed to buy certain Flight ukuleles at dealer pricing. So I don't get this free for review, but I do get a chance to buy these at a lesser price than the public. So do keep in mind that I do have a relationship with Flight as you watch this video. So what we're going to do in this video, first of all, is we're going to look at some subjective categories with the instrument that I look at with all instruments. Then I'll look at specifications, and then I will summarize the instrument and give it an overall rating. Now, it becomes a very lengthy video, and I know that. Every now and then I get a very kind of rude comment from someone saying, boy, you blather on, don't you? Well, here's the joy. If you don't want to watch the whole video, you can either jump ahead to parts of the video that matter to you, or you can go to ukestuff.info or the shorter ukeguide.info and just see the one-page summary of this instrument if you don't want to hear me talk. So, and I don't know why anybody would watch a full video if you don't want to hear what the person has to say, then just don't watch it. I don't know, but those comments always just sort of stick with you kind of in a weird way, and I don't publish them, I just delete them. But nonetheless, if you're one of those people that's just like, I don't want to hear you talk, guess what? You don't have to. Just go to ukestuff.info and look at the Uke guides, or go to ukeguide.info. It takes you right to that same page and look at those guides there. All right, so let's begin with the subjective categories. Category number one is cost. Now, they're pretty affordable. It's $64.99 for one of these, although you can find them listed for less than that. There are versions of the TUC, the concert version, because there are also long neck versions and soprano versions of this instrument. You can find other versions of this for less. The wood pattern costs a little more. In terms of value, you're getting a great playing ukulele that sounds decent. We'll talk about sound later. With ruggedness, good pricing, good sound, and one of these, I'm going to reach over and get it, a very light gig bag, but it's all you need with a travel ukulele like this. It just basically keeps the strings safe and gives you a handle to carry, which is really all that you need with one of these. Maybe a pocket would be nice to hold a tuner or something, but that's it. So it's a very, very good value for what you're getting in terms of an instrument. In terms of build quality, Flight has really mastered this. If there's anything to complain about, it is perhaps the slight edge where the laminate top is set in, because you can feel a little bit of a bump. That has been improved over the years. Maybe that's the negative. I have an appearance point of pain. I didn't want to send this one back for it, but I'm not a fan of that spot right there in the pattern. It just sort of sticks out at me. Now I know, if it's real laminate, it's a real laminate piece of wood there, you're at the mercy of the wood, but I don't think I would have chose that for that part, or I would have moved the choice of wood over to avoid that dot in the wood. I know that's really picky, but hey, it's an instrument that I like, and you want your instruments to look a certain way. Other than that, it has a 0 fret, which has been true of Flight for a long time, as well as a slotted bridge, which makes string changes very, very easy. And this one, we'll talk about it later, does not have a compensated saddle, although a lot of the travel ukuleles do. All right, let's take a look at the inside of the Flight TUC-55 Acacia. Here we go. As we look in the back, there's not going to be a whole lot to see here because of the plastic construction, but you can see sort of the tail block there, and if we get a little bit closer, you can even see the screw sticking out. You can see some extra supports that help hold up the top. And you can see at the top actually does have some bracing, and that the bridge plate, actually there's a plate and it's screwed in from the bottom. So if you ever had to replace the bridge, you'd be in trouble, because you'd have to figure out some way to unscrew it in there. It'd be a little tricky to do. You might have to just replace the entire top. And then one last thing to look at is the sides here. the top does rest on the body itself, so that's why no kerfing is needed here, and it is glued in place. You can see a little extra glue there, but in general, it's super clean. Very, very clean build overall. A little bit of glue on that horizontal brace over there on the edge as well. All right, let's take a look at the upper bout. All right, as we look at the upper bout, we're not going to see a whole lot here. Here's the main brace off the neck. A little bit of a neck block up there. You can see the quality of the laminate top, which is quite good. You know, I've seen some really poor quality laminate. That's pretty well finished on that edge. And then as we scroll over and we look over here, generally, you know, it's just a clean build, a piece of, you know, laminate wood that's glued onto that plastic body, and it's supported, and that laminate top does have bracing. It's pretty well put together. And there's not much else to see here. So that wraps up our internal look at the Flight TUC-55 Acacia. In terms of appearance, it's a contemporary design with a little bit different headstock, and of course the plastics and the rounded body, the different colored neck. I used to wonder if that should be a different color, but the more I play it and the more I play these, the more I like it. So yeah, it's a modern design. There are some things that I will change as soon as I'm done with this review. I will change the strings, and I will also put a strap button here because this is my own and it's not going anywhere. I'm going to put a black strap button in right there. And what I will do personally, now again, this could void your warranty with Flight, so do keep that in mind. I will drill a hole that's smaller than the screw that I need, and then I will put super glue on the screw, on the threads of the screw, and on the bottom of the strap button, and then screw it in, and then it will set. And I'll screw it in one swift move so that it's tight, and just leave it there. I've done that before on flight travel ukuleles, and it works great. So that's what I will be doing with this one. But other than that, it's a very modern appearance, sort of contemporary design, but it's also very plain, and that's okay. If you want more, there are a ton of different choices in the TUS, TUSL, although fewer choices with the long neck sopranos, and even with the concerts, if you want something a little more flashy, it's going to be a different top for you. I wanted the wood look on this one. Secretly, or not so secretly, what I would like is a solid top option. Cedar in particular in my case, because I love cedar. I'd love a cedar gloss top here and a cedar gloss top there. Unfortunately, I don't think that's possible, but I would love to see that. That's something I would love to see on this instrument, and I get tempted to buy one of these, perhaps it's broken or something, and remove the wood and replace it myself and try to see what I can do. I'm not much of a woodworker, so I probably won't do that. Now, let's talk about availability. If you want one of these, you can order one from any Flight dealer, and your Flight dealer or anybody that carries Hal Leonard can order one directly from Hal Leonard and get that to you. So they are available and out there right now. Now, in terms of playability, this is where this instrument really shines. Some positives here. First of all, the action is really low. In fact, some of the lowest action I've seen on a instrument that doesn't buzz at all. It's less than 0.25 millimeters at the first fret. It's 2.25 millimeters at the 12th. We'll get into that with the specifications, but that's really low action. The nut is wider than 36 millimeters, although the nut is a little deceiving because it is actually a 0 fret there, as we've talked about. So that makes sure the intonation is better on the instrument. So the strings are really resting on that 0 fret. Also helps keep that action in check. So nonetheless, it still is a wide nut with wide string spacing, and the neck shape is really nice. It's not less deep than a lot of ukuleles, but the shape is like a D, so it fits better in your hand. If you have large hands in particular, I have men's-sized large hands, I think you'd really enjoy playing this instrument. So yeah, it's really a winner when it comes to playing. Now, in terms of sound quality, it's warmer than I would like. It's darker than I would like. The sound is louder than its soprano or long neck soprano version, which is what you'd expect for a larger soundboard and a bigger body. But it's a deeper sound, which maybe you'd guess, but I still want some brightness or more brightness in the sound, so I would try different strings. So really the criticism here isn't really major. It's I need to try different strings on this because I want a little more sparkle in the sound. And that really, for sound quality, is my only complaint, and I think it's fixable. So that will impact the score as well for this instrument, but not by much. The sound isn't bad, so don't take me wrong with that. If you like a warmer sounding ukulele, I think you'll really like this, but I do like to hear those overtones all the time when I'm playing. So it is loud. It's a loud ukulele. The sound is darker than I like. The sustain is in the mid-range and low, and it does have overtones, but I even want more sparkle as I'm playing. One of the things I do in these reviews is I let you see what I'm hearing by playing the instrument into the app Tonal Energy Tuner to let you see what's going on with the Harmonic Energy series. So here we go. I play generally a C chord on a G, C, E instrument. I am personally hearing a little bit more mid-range sustain than the very, very lowest notes. But overall, I mean, you can see the instrument itself does cover the whole spectrum, but really it is towards the low end right now. So again, that's why I'm looking forward to trying other strings. All right, now that we've looked at the subjective categories, let's look at the specifications. It is a concert ukulele with a scale length of 15.6875 inches from 0 fret to saddle. There are 17 frets with 14 to the body, and there are side position markers on the ukulele. It is a double bout ukulele with a rounded back that also helps with that sound projection. The soundboard is Laminate Acacia. Everything else is going to be ABS other than the strap button, the strings, the tuners, and also the faceplate there on the headstock. So the fretboard is ABS, and it is a flat fretboard. It's not radius. The bridge is an ABS slotted bridge, and the nut and saddle are all made out of ABS, including that 0 fret, and the saddle itself is not compensated, although a number of the travel series on flight have been or are compensated, depending on the model. The finish is a flat finish, and I would love to see a gloss version too. So not only would I love to see a solid top, but I'd love to see gloss versions on this, and you can get shiny prints. But on a wood laminate, I'd love to see a gloss finish. The overall length is 24 inches, and it weighs 1 pound, 3.4 ounces, and it feels heavy. And the reason it feels heavy is that this body is body heavy. So if I hold it and try to hold it level, the instrument's always going to be towards the body heavy. And that's why I think a second strap button will help me out a lot too on this. The tuners are open geared tuners. The action at the first fret is 0.25 millimeters. The action at the 12th fret is 2.25 millimeters. So it's really, really low action with no buzzing. The nut width is 36.61 millimeters. And again, that's a little deceiving because you're not actually going off the nut, you're going off the 0 fret, but the spacing of the strings is still very wide. 9.15 millimeters between each string at the first fret for a total of 30.58 millimeters G to A. That's pretty roomy for a concert ukulele. And finally, the last measurement that I check is the depth of the neck. I just arbitrarily chose the 3rd fret. I measure from the top of the strings to the bottom of the neck. It's 20.82 millimeters. Now that isn't really that narrow. There are more narrow ukuleles, but the shape of the neck is a D shape rather than a C shape, and it feels completely different in your hand than many other models. So that said, it's very comfortable, very well set up, very easy to play, and really my only gripe is in sound a little bit, and I'm looking forward to trying other strings on it. All right, now that we've talked about subjective categories and the specifications for the instrument, let's summarize the instrument. Again, reminder, I do work with flight ukulele, so I am able to buy these at a discount and I do have a relationship with the company, so do keep that in mind as I rate the ukulele. Years ago, before I had any involvement with flight, I had bought a travel soprano ukulele. Great little ukuleles. And I like concert ukuleles, so I wrote Flight and I asked them if they would be willing to make a concert version of this. And didn't hear back from them, but then sometime later they emailed me to let me know they were coming out with a long neck soprano. And I fell in love with that instrument. Did not expect it, but then later they came up with the concert. At the moment, I like the sound of the soprano, long neck soprano, better than the concert, although that could change with different strings. Stock, I think I like the sound of the long neck soprano just because it's bright. And again, I'm a bright ukulele person. So if you're a person that likes a warmer ukulele, I would suggest this one. If you like a little bit brighter sound, but the concert neck, check out the long neck, the Flight long neck travel ukulele instead. That's the way I would go right off the bat. But again, a string change may change all of that for me. The concert model has been out for a while. Barry Maz reviewed it a long time ago. I've had this for quite a while and just haven't had a chance to review it and wanted to finally get to it. It's great to play. The experience for playing it is wonderful. And really my biggest gripe is this, other than the sound, is this little flaw in the Acacia. And I know it's no big deal. But if I were a separate customer and not somebody that worked with the company, I'd probably send it back and say, can I get one without that? That's just what I would do personally. So yeah, the sound is darker than I'd like. I'd like a brighter sound, and I think that's easily rectified. It's a really nice ukulele. With that, it's also a winner because you get so many choices in terms of design. So if you don't like this wood pattern at all, you have lots of other options in the soprano, long neck soprano, although fewer options in long neck soprano, and the concert ukuleles that are out there. So if I were to give this instrument a rating, what rating would I give it out of 5 ukuleles? I think very safely it's a 4. With different strings, it might be a 4.5. Beyond that little flaw in the wood, which really is not that big of a deal because you could send one back and get a different one. Again, not knowing if strings will fix the sound for me. That's a key point. Again, if you like warmer sounding ukuleles, this might be it for you. And then also just that heaviness of it, because of it being a little body heavy, I think is a 4. That's not a bad score at all. And it's still a great value, great little ukulele, especially if you're looking for a concert ukulele in a sort of travel package that can withstand a little bit more stress than your average laminate, and definitely than a solid wood ukulele. All right, so I hope that this review has been helpful. Remember, you can go to ukestuff.info and see the summary page, or ukeguide.info and see the summary page. If you want to support the work here, there are 3 things you can do. You can like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, and you can always buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ukestuff. All right, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.